Okay, it's happy dollar time, guys. Let's listen to Bob. It doesn't work.
While they are deciding who is doing what, our acting president, good morning,
Good morning.
and
person.
fellow Lions and guests. Thank you for coming today. Guess what? I am selling dance tickets. Lions Club Pioneers are sponsoring our sock hop, which is tonight, by the way, at 6 o'clock. At the Elks, we have King Brothers playing. Excuse me. Who would like to take the mic and talk?
Hello?
It's Tom. Do you have something to say? Well, I was trying to tell you all about the dance tonight. I have tickets here, $10 a piece. And Mike, I would love to sell a couple more to you, Michael. And anyone else that's interested. $10 a ticket now, and then $15 at the door. We're having baskets, door prize, and a lot of other fun things. King Brothers are playing taco and nacho bar for Yum Yums. Please come and support your dance, Pioneers Dance, because the money goes to Lions, to our Leo Camp Leo for the diabetic kids, and help us function as a group. It's not for me, darn it, but it's for the Lions Club. But the audience was talking and they didn't hear me.
I know, President, Vice President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, you really do have to buy your very beautiful tickets, printed by a local printer. But anyway, that's a whole other story. Hey, I've got only 4 left because that's all the money I had left. First one has to be with, man, what a beautiful day it is out there today, huh? Compared to last week? Huh? Is anybody else's grass up to their ankles or knees or something? All right, second happy buck, had a lovely experience at Elon A on Sunday night watching Alanis Morissette. That was fantastic. Hey, Dave Smith, unless you got money, shut your mouth. Okay. Hey, man, I ain't taking prisoners. I ain't taking prisoners. So the third one is that Saturday night we had a great little fundraiser over at the Rainier Eagles, a hoedown. A hillbilly hoedown. I did not win for my costume, but I thought it was excellent. Long story short, we raised about $1,300 over there at the Rainier Eagles that night to support St. Jude's Children's Hospital and a couple other places. My last happy buck, because my friend Charlie Gord is here, and we did the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge on last Friday to support our board member and friend Nicole McKay. On Saturday, September 22nd, Saturday night, at the Longview Country Club is a spaghetti feed for her. She's a 32-year-old young lady who's come down with ALS. Okay, if you haven't seen or heard about it, well, come on over to the country club for the spaghetti feed. Again, another fundraiser, another good cause. Let's help this young family get through and face the challenges they have ahead of them. Okay, it's good. It's going to be a fun time. All right, thanks.
Thank you, Pat. Line Dwayne. Acting President Leroy, I have a $2 bill. The first dollar is a happy buck because going down to Las Vegas for 5 weeks. And the other dollar is a sad dollar because I won't be here to join you. Thanks for the $2 bill. I can never get the name. Flora Lee reminds you, it is a little bit quieter now. The sock hop is tonight. You guys, do we have a special on tickets? Like if you buy them at the meeting today, you can get them for $10? $10 today only by 1 o'clock. So let's get those happy sock hop dollars flowing. Where's the next happiness coming from? David's always happy. Stay happy. Stay standing up there, Dave. And remember, get your address turned into Pat Palmer if you want to get your lawn mowed today. Pat has a day off, and it's a nice day. And David Smith, what you got?
I owe an apologies. I think his name's Pat, I don't know. I think that's the right name. I apologize where I'm at what I was trying to find out. I'm willing to buy a ticket but I'm not able to attend for anybody in here. So come and see me if you want a ticket to go to the sock hop. I'll be willing to buy a ticket. I'm going to put it out there. If you don't, I don't. Then, thank you. And I'm Peter Fan, and I can fly, and I'm not flying. I'm not telling a storytell on that one. And I thank you. I look like Magic Muppet or somebody, But anyway, I'm a magician, and of course, because I run off in the mouth. So anyway, I love everybody, and I always have. All my life, I've learned to love people and enjoy them for who they are. I'm trying to be stable. I'm not trying to, but I love them at prayer who they are and whatever their situation is. And I'll always be that way. That's why I lasted so long at Goodwill. I worked there 42 years. And that's a plug for them. But anyway, God bless you all, and I want to thank all the cooks and everybody that was associated with allowing us to come here to eat and to rent the place, or how that runs. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.
now that's how you get full use out of your $2 of happy money right there. Was it $3? That felt more like $3 of happiness there. Yeah. Mr. Jim Reineke, what you got?
Presiding officer Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. I've got $1. It's a happy dollar. Pat said Dwayne said he went to Las Vegas for 6 weeks. I went there once for 3 days and didn't have anything left to pay $1 with.
Lion Jim.
A couple sad dollars. I'm not going to throw away my U.S. President Leroy. Stand-in President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. I'm not going to throw away my USC gear, but I am going to start rooting for University of South Carolina.
Sad dollars indeed. Ron Suppler.
Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions guests, a good report about Bill Pontius. He's starting to recover. He's putting words together better, and he's clearly on the road to recovery now. So I was really happy for that.
Thanks for the good news there. Greg Bird.
President Acting Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. That real happy dollar. Richie's back to see us for a bit.
Lion Roll.
Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, as you get up in years a little bit, you get to thinking sometimes about the hereafter. Anyway, I mentioned just a few days ago to Marie that I wanted to be cremated. So I found out this morning she got an appointment for me on Friday.
Lion John.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests.
hearing about Dwayne going down to Las Vegas for 5 weeks. Any other comments from my Uncle Jim about how long he got to stay in Reno or Las Vegas? I wanted to remind the club of Great Lion, the Iceman come up, John Maeda, who when he returned from Reno would only tell you that he had lost his donkey.
Lion Gina, you got some happiness to share today?
Yes, I believe I can come up with something. Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, I have a $5 because we're all alive and well. I'd like to say that I got to see Judy and Bob Fromdahl last week. They're just as beautiful outside of Lions as they are in Lions. Got this Fromdahl, what did I say?
You said Judy and Bob Fromdahl. His name is Item.
Well, you know, it is a happy dollar, by the way. I was drinking. And I'd like to put a plug in for, he's not here, John Morelli. The Arium show that was at the Columbia Theater last Saturday night was beautiful. When they come back next year, that was their premiere show. So next year when they come back, yeah, everyone should go. It is just a beautiful show. And Arium. Yes, it's worth the ticket.
Very good. Lion Mark, if you haven't been on Facebook today, look at some of the great historical photos that Mark posted from his trip. Awesome. Did you? Was that? Did you post?
Not that I know of.
Maybe I was tripping.
Apparently I need to check for hackers at this point in time.
Acting President
Leroy, fellow Lions and guests. First, it's been a difficult stretch, but thank you for the thoughts and prayers. Missed again last week. Had to go up to Riderwood, community I'm well eligible for. But happy to report that their water situation is resolved and we have lifted restrictions up there. Unfortunately, to keep me busy, we had 2 slides on the Clam River Road, so it was kind of crazy and don't get a lot of sleep during those times. I forgot what the $3 was for, so I'll probably just donate it.
for memory loss. Okay. Lion Hal Palmer.
Hey, Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions, and Mr. Bromdahl, it's good to see you. That's worth a happy dollar right there. You know, that is worth a happy dollar. Gina, you're a star in this club. Yes, yes. Happy dollar, finally got my motor back on my boat so I can start going out of my boat again. Oh, wait a minute, is this the last week of sun? Yeah, but, well, what happens if you bump into sand? Then you need a motor to pull yourself off. Yeah. Oh. And happy dollar for my brother and all of his assistants in helping get that motor running again.
He's the best brother!
Zone Chair of Maryland.
Acting President Leroy and fellow Lions and guests, I got $1 here. I couldn't decide what to do it for, but I decided that, Walt, I love to get giggles. I love your jokes. And the other, it's true, it wasn't a joke.
See you next week, I'm serious.
Thanks for the giggle, anyway. Okay, the other happy dollar is, there's a certain someone that I'm married to that has a birthday tomorrow. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Steve. Lion Lloyd.
Acting, fellow Lions and guests. You got any Cougars in the crowd?
Yeah!
How about that win last weekend, huh?
Yeah! What did they play?
Eastern Washington. Who they play this weekend? This is a wager dollar and a challenge to my very fine friend from La La Land, Jim Waters. This weekend, I'll bet you $1 that the Cougars surround these guys down there in Southern Cal, and you can donate the winnings to let's see.
Speech therapist?
You've got room to talk. Down in La La Land this weekend, so next week you put in $2, okay? One for me and one for you.
Okay.
Lion Steve.
Well, I got a happy $5 here. Acting President Leroy, fellow lines and guests. On Sunday, my wife and I will be married for 52 years. And I won't be here next week.
Come on.
Any residual happiness out there? Mr. Phil Olson.
President in waiting Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, just a happy dollar, happy anticipation dollar. I hope you're all looking forward to the only undefeated team next week in the state of Washington, the Gooey Ducks.
Thank you, thank you. That it? Any outstanding happiness that hasn't been touched upon yet, or milked for every penny it's worth?
Okay. Invocation is going to be given by Steve Patterson.
Heavenly Father, we thank you for allowing us to gather here today as Lions and friends. We pray your blessing on the Kelch family for the difficulties that Beth has. We pray your blessing that you gave to Greg Swanson for the successful procedure he endured. We also pray your blessing on the food we eat today, that it will give us strength in our growing love for you and for each other. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Pledge will be given by Jane Durden.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The song will be led by Marilyn.
My
country is of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Thank you. Thank you. You may be seated. We have any guests, Bob? Okay, Bob will be giving guests. Who's got that microphone to give to him? Thank you, Steve.
Acting President Leroy, fellow members, and yes, we have one guest in the house today, and I'll let Mike introduce the lady.
Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, we have a special guest here today. Our youngest daughter, Zoe, is here, and she shies underneath the table. She has already given Greg and Pat Palmer scowls, so she's got good taste on who to stay away from. And I apologize to the cleanup crew because she's a human tornado, so.
Welcome. Any other guests? That's it. Okay, up next is Marilyn Patterson, Trezone.
Way to go, Phil.
Acting President Leroy and fellow Lions, I am filling in for immediate past President Cindy Fickett for Visitations. And she has a list here. If you're going to be attending the MD19 convention in October, she would like to have you sign this. We also have some scheduled visitations coming up. Monday night, I am visiting Kalama Lions. I had to think about that. And it's just an unofficial visit, but if you would like to go, Steve and I have room in our car for 2 people or anyone that would like to attend. Kalama Lions meet at 7 o'clock, so if you'd like to go, sign up for that. A reminder that we have a zone meeting coming up next Wednesday, and if you are attending, I do need, by Friday, I need to know that you'll be having a meal there. So there's sign up for that. That's Wednesday the 26th out at the Wakayakum Fairgrounds. Also, the service symposium after the cabinet meeting, which is Saturday, September 29th. Again, if you're coming, you can come and visit the cabinet meeting, listen in. It's a good learning session for what goes on above us as a club level. And the service symposium, the trifold that I had here last week, will be on display, and there are 11 clubs participating in this, so it's kind of like a science fair. I feel like that's what it is, where you can come and actually as an open house. Sons of Norway, 1 to 3, but if you want to have lunch, I do need you to sign up for that.
Up next, Gail, you have a report for Sunshine Committee? Nothing? Okay. Tom Fulton, you got a couple things?
Saturday is Extreme Machine. It's our last event. President Leroy. Fellow Lions and guests.
How easily we forget.
Anyway, I need some help. I need 4 people to step up for Saturday and help out. It's from 2 to 4. Or from 10 to 2, I'm sorry. Thanks, Greg.
What's that?
So I need 4 people. Okay, 1, 2, come on. 3, 4, okay. So we need somebody to be 10 o'clock over by the fairgrounds there across the street in that parking lot. Okay, Craig says 9:30. Okay, thanks.
You can give that to Ron Stopler. He's up next.
Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, our 95th anniversary is coming up in about 6 weeks. We've started a fundraiser to help pay for the cost of speaker and some other things. We're just in process of starting this. We're going to be asking for contributions of whatever you think would be good for fundraising. People in the past have donated condominium timeshares and other things like that. We need a fair amount of money because of all the costs that go into this. So if anybody is interested in making baskets, be thinking about that. I'll be going around and asking people for specific items that they'll be putting for. And Steve and I will be helping. We'll be doing this in the next couple of weeks. So thank you.
Phil Ocean should make baskets. That's what he studied at Evergreen.
And the last one that we have is Greg first.
President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, are there any Melvin Jones fellows here today that were not here last week? Can, right after the meeting, we meet right over here. This has to do with the 95th anniversary. Thank you.
I think that's it. Okay, thank you. So up next we have our guest speaker, and will be introduced by Fern Foster.
Funny. Acting President Leroy, fellow Lions and guests, our guest this afternoon is an author and motivational speaker. Back when he was just 19 years old, while pursuing his passion of playing rugby in Australia, In a scrum, he suffered a broken neck. And since that time, he travels to talk to people about how they can overcome obstacles, chase their dreams, and live up to their potential. Please welcome disability advocate, motivational speaker, and author, Simon Calcavecchia.
You even got my last name right, which is impressive. Thank you very much for having me. Just to double check on the time, when do I need to be done by?
You got 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, cool. All right. So I am Simon Calcavecchia, and I am an author and motivational speaker. Sure, I'll take that.
Okay.
Hello, nice and old.
Yeah. All right, there we go. So yeah, my name is Simon Calcavecchia. And yeah, today I want to share my story with you. I want to show you what I've been able to do with my life with the right positive mindset and a growth mindset. And I go to schools and share this message with kids in elementary school, to high school, to college, and beyond. And I really love sharing my story because I feel like people get a lot out of it. And one of the first things I'd like to start with is what you're all curious about, even though it was mentioned in the intro, that why am I using this wheelchair? One second, I just gotta get this mic right. There we go. The reason why I'm using this wheelchair is because in high school, I really enjoyed a game called football. But there was always one thing I wanted to do in football, and that was score touchdowns. But I was 5'7", 230 pounds, built like a lineman, and no coach wanted to give me the opportunity to do the thing I was dreaming about. And that made me lose some passion for the game of football. And at the end of my junior high school season of playing, I had a friend come up to me and he said, "Simon, have you ever thought about playing a game called rugby?" I said, "Rugby? What's that?" He told me rugby was a sport where anyone could run the ball and score touchdowns. So I said, "When can I sign up?" Within 2 weeks, we started the first high school level rugby team in Olympia, Washington, and I had found a game that I was absolutely passionate about. We played our hearts out for the first season, and by the second season, we did so well that we won the state championship, and we were invited to the national tournament where we placed 5th in the nation. And that was a huge accomplishment. In just 2 years, we had a phenomenal coaching staff and a team that was really committed to us doing the best that we could possibly do. After that season ended, I wasn't sure what to do with my life. I wasn't the most academically oriented student. I really just slid by on my charm alone, and I didn't know what to do. I knew that working would be the best option, so I started working, doing some bulkhead work and stuff like that. And my coach knew that I didn't know what to do with my life either, and he said, "Simon, how would you like to continue playing the game that you love in Sydney, Australia?" I said yes to that as fast as I said yes to rugby in the first place. And after 6 months of saving up enough money, I was able to take a flight over there and start pursuing my dreams and having the adventure of my life. And I was doing everything I could to be the best athlete I could possibly be. I was an American in Rugby Nation, and I had to prove myself to these guys. And so I put everything into it, working out, running on the beach, and training with my team, and really showing the coaches my effort as well. And they were noticing, and they moved me up on the team and put me in I was in the second best grade. There was about 5 tiers of this team. It was a large club. And so I was at a pretty high level of rugby. It was probably higher than what I was used to at the high school level. It was more like a collegiate level of rugby. And I was training, and my friend gave me some advice a week before a game when I got moved up on the team. And he said, "Simon, when you go into the next scrum, try to get your head over to the side, and you'll get an advantage on your opponent, and you can push him around easier." And I was thinking about it all week, trying it out in practice and trying to do it to my best ability, but really didn't have the proper training, and ended up going into the scrum and breaking my neck on my opponent's shoulder. And I broke my neck at the C5-6 vertebrae, which is about where the bump at the bottom of your neck is. And I want to show you why it was so important for me to have my head in the right spot. See, this is a scrum here, and I was in the position of number 17 red jersey. And that is called a tight head prop. And they're tight head prop because they slam together and it's a really tight position. And it's really important to have your head in the right spot. And this is what an actual scrum looks like. And they are slamming together with thousands of pounds of pressure. So when I had my head in the wrong location and didn't have the proper training for that technique, I ended up breaking my neck on my opponent's shoulder. And it severed my spinal cord, leaving me paralyzed late on the field. Once I broke my neck, I broke it at the C5-6, like I said, and that paralyzed me from the chest down. So this line that I'm creating, I have no feeling or function below that line. I can't wiggle my toes. I can't even know if they're in pain or if there's something hot touching my legs. I don't know it. And it can cause problems for me. I recently had a pretty nasty burn on my leg from some hot water. And fortunately, I don't feel it, but it also can cause problems because I can't do it. My hands are paralyzed. I can't move my fingers. I can move my wrist up like this, but not the opposite way. And if I want to put my arm up and throw my hand up for a question, I'm unable to do that because my triceps, which help me push, are also paralyzed. If I were to break my neck at the C2, C3, I would require a ventilating machine to breathe for me. And it can change based on where the spinal cord is damaged. If I was at the C7, I would actually be able to raise my arm in this position because I would have more function. And I would be in a manual chair pushing myself under my own power. But because I don't have that pushing function, I use a power chair because it gives me more independence. All right, so now that we don't have a ton of time, I'm just going to show you a little bit of what my life looks like at home and how I get up in the morning. Hello everyone. Today I want to show you how I get up in the morning. This morning I have my awesome mom, Julie, here to help me out. She's going to help me get ready so that I can show you how I get in and out of bed. And here we are, ready to go. Now, my mom's going to show you how she gets me up in the morning.
We use this trusty sliding board because it's the easiest way to move 175 pounds to this bed.
Boy, it's only 165.
So we start the board underneath his legs, like so. And then we pull him up. And then we slide from the bed into the chair. Ready, ready, go.
Now that I'm in my chair. All right, I'm going to stop it there. And yeah, my mom is awesome. She's been taking care of me for 16 and a half years since I became injured. And she's been my biggest supporter there for whenever I need it. And when anything goes wrong, she's always the first person to be there and help me out. So just a lot of love and respect for my mom. And when I came home from the hospitals, I had a whole new lifestyle to live. I needed to have care for me all around the clock. I could no longer do things on my own, no longer get up on my own, or clothe myself, or even bathe. So I had a huge transition in my life. And at one point I decided the best thing that I could do to benefit myself and my life was go to school. So I started going to the local community college in Olympia, Washington, then transferred over to the Evergreen State College, where I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts. Oh yeah. Go Ducks. Go Ducks rule. Oh yeah. So after that, I actually started getting a lot of depression and sadness because I graduated from college and I didn't have any purpose in my life. I also found it quite difficult to find work and find a career that I could be passionate about. And because of that, my depressions got longer and longer to the point where I decided that it was time to see a counselor. And I decided that with her help, it was the best thing for me to do was to start volunteering in my community. So I started hanging out with kids in classrooms at the Children's Museum in Olympia and the local movie theater and the grocery store. And volunteering there gave me so much purpose that I was really inspired by my life and what I was doing. It made me want to start my own YouTube channel where I would share adventures with people all across the world, like flying a plane over Seattle, or getting in a monster truck and driving it for the first time, or creating my very first art piece, or even my first glitter beard, and sharing this with all kinds of people across the world. But when I was creating this YouTube, my best video came after I found and met a guy online named Genesis Del Bosque. This guy is an absolute beast. He is a quadriplegic bodybuilder, and he has biceps as big as most of your heads. And this guy, when I saw him, he made me realize that I'd been making a big excuse about my life and how I gave up on being a physical athlete and someone that was athletic and in shape and worked out. I let that go when I became injured because it was no longer part of my life, and I had to accept that to move on. But I couldn't have been more wrong. And I want to show you why this guy was so inspiring to me. Here's Genesis Del Bosque. Look at those biceps, they're huge, I told you. He's currently 50 pounds in the background. This guy started the world's first quadriplegic bodybuilding competition, and he was just an absolute inspiration to me. And when I saw him and started talking to him, I decided it was time for me to get in the gym and make my own progress and build my muscles and become a physically active person again. And I ended up documenting my progress over 2 years. And at the end of the 2 years, I had shown and collected enough footage, and then when I released it on the YouTube channel, I ended up getting over 100,000 views, and people were being inspired all over the world by the work that I was doing. And that's not even the best part. The best part is that it allowed me to get back to something that I truly love. And I want to share a highlight reel with you right now.
I was 17 years old. I started playing a game that I had passion for. The game was called rugby, and I loved everything about it. I loved it so much that I was willing to follow my passion to Sydney, Australia. While I was there, I ended up breaking my neck at the C5-6 level, which rendered me with quadriplegia for the rest of my life. Over the course of the years, I've been on a mission to prove that life doesn't end with quadriplegia. I started filming a YouTube channel in which I do various different things that at one point in time I want to inspire people to believe in themselves and to know that no matter what your situation, you can find passion in your life and chase your dreams. I am truly thankful and feel blessed for the way my life has turned out, even though I have been through very difficult and challenging times. I feel as though this has been an opportunity for me to grow in ways that I never imagined, and to believe in what I'm capable of, and believe in accomplishing things that I never thought were possible. Refusing to give up on my life, I slowly began to discover more and more things. One of those things that have been tremendously impactful on my life is when I discovered that I could get back the game that I love by playing wheelchair rugby. It was a life-changing moment for me when I was able to get back out on the court and play the game, maybe in a limited way, but able to play the game that I once loved so much. And it's brought so much passion to my life again and opened up doors that once again I never realized were possible.
Awesome. So there's the highlight reel of some of the cool adventures I've been able to go on and how I got back to wheelchair rugby, which is an absolute blast. And it's like a combination of rugby, basketball, and bumper cars. And we all love bumper cars, I'm sure. And so you can see that with the right mindset, I was really able to do some amazing things and have
a positive impact on more than just me. With those videos I was creating and having a positive impact on people all across the world, it's just been such a powerful experience. And I had all these really good things going on in my life, and I thought, with hanging out with kids and having the right opportunity present itself, I felt it was time to become a children's book author. And I started with my good friend, the illustrator, Arturo Alvarez. We started The Adventures of Frank and Mustard. And this book is about how I got stuck in the mud. My first book is called Stuck in the Mud, and it's about when I got stuck in the mud in my wheelchair and needed help to get out. And unfortunately, we don't quite have enough time for me to show you the story today, but you're welcome to come check them out over at the table. And the reason why I wanted, and this Frank over here is the wiener dog, and he uses a wheelchair just like me. And the reason why I chose an animal and a wiener dog is because I wanted the books to be very kid-friendly. And I thought, well, if they're going to be kid-friendly, they should be animals. And if I'm going to be an animal in this book, then I should be a wiener dog, because they most commonly use a wheelchair. And if I'm a wiener dog, I gotta make a hot dog joke. So Frank and Mustard was born, and Mustard represents all the caregivers in my life that help me be more independent. And Stuck in the Mud is a story about teamwork and not giving up and not being afraid to ask for help, as well as representing wheelchair-using characters in children's books and books in general, because I spent 10 years volunteering with kids and never found one in the classroom. So we wanted to change that. And this is my second book, Differently Awesome. This book is about how I felt when treated differently or not included just because I have a disability and use a wheelchair. And I was really drawn to this message of getting it into kids' hands, because as an adult, I experience these times from other adults. And I know that if kids are in schools, they're definitely feeling like they're being treated differently and not included. And that is not a good feeling. We all actually feel that, but more people with disabilities feel it more often. And so it was such an important message for me to get out there. I also have that book here if you guys want to check that out too. And at this point, I like to open up an opportunity for questions that you may be curious about. We don't have a whole lot of time, but I can take maybe 3 questions. If you're curious about anything about my presentation or about the adventures of Frank and Mustard. Does anybody have any questions for me? Good. Did I ever score a goal? Yes, I did. And it was the best thing ever. And I absolutely, my favorite thing, I didn't even have to score goals. Just running the ball and running someone over was the best feeling in my life, pretty much. Any other questions? Go ahead. I'm not to the point where I'm traveling worldwide. I'm traveling up and down the West Coast quite a bit, from Washington to California, but my dream is to become a national and international speaker, going to schools all across the world and doing this on the big platform. Back there? So I brought my books, great plug there, my friend. I brought the books. I'm going to be over there in the corner where my friend Casey is waving. And I sell the books, 1 for $15, 2 for $25. I'm also giving back 20% of the profit to this club so that you guys can do something positive with that money, because I really love what these clubs do for the community, how they give back. Is really the way I want to live my life, and how I do try to live my life with the resources that I have. So also, if you're looking, if anybody's a teacher or works at a school or has any connections, I would love to come to the school or any other speaking opportunities. That helps me out a tremendous amount, because I'm trying to live my life financially independent. I'm trying to do this for a living and to be as successful as possible. So with that last question, I just want to say that in life, there are times where you're going to face very difficult challenges. A lot of you have already faced those challenges. And it is so important that you face those challenges with the right attitude. In my life, when I broke my neck, I lost everything, but I kept a positive attitude. I kept that hope and belief that no matter what happened, I'm going to be okay. And I'm still going to be able to chase my dreams and do my best to live up to my full potential. So no matter what happens to you in your life, please don't let anything stop you from achieving your dreams. Thank you so much for having me at your club, and please come see me over there.
Thank you, Simon. Have a mug here for you. I can give to you.
Awesome.
And actually, go on
Where's
that.
the beer?
There you are. I'm getting it. Do you guys have some beer put in there? Roy.
You can solve that too.
I got all these things here in my hands. So, here you go.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for the inspirational speech and boy, the encouragement that you have to offer. Even that's just really cool. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay, so let's see here. Drawings. Dessert drawing first. Second pick. Okay, so we have the white ticket is up. The white ticket, which used to be blue, but we dyed them white. 396686.
No.
6. No? Vern. Vern's the winner of the white ticket. So, who's bringing is that the Joker ticket? And I don't even know what the amount is in the Joker's, Paul. 1,400? So, $1,400. So, whoever's got the deck. Okay.
At least.
And for some announcements, Marilyn's got a whole bunch of things over here to sign up for. Visitations, as the symposium, Zoom meeting. She really would like to have you guys in participation. So check that out. Right here.
Red ticket too.
Well, how about red ticket? Yeah, I got a list here. I'm going down the list. You know, Ken's keeping me in track here.
What color are the red tickets?
The red tickets are red with black print on it. You got that? Big ticket. So we start off with T-I. Okay, no one's got it. Forget it. 05497 Larry. Where's that to go, Larry? White Canes. Thank you, Larry.
That's the winner.
Get a heart. Get a heart.
Absolutely.
Oh, too bad. Secretary Phil, do we have any senility? Oh, wait a minute. Wait, got one more thing here. Senility.
Mr. President in waiting, fellow Lions, the person who did not sign in just raised his hand. I guess he was feeling guilty. Pat Palmer.
Wait a minute. He never feels guilty.
Anybody else? Okay. So anyway, remember, Marilyn's got a bunch of stuff over here to sign up for. Oh, Pat, do you actually have your hand up? Okay, you don't feel guilty. Okay, go for it.
Let's not also forget that it's Thursday, Give424.org. You've probably already gotten 300 email messages about it. It's a 24-hour giving period, but almost any agency that you give to in Dallas County has a matching grant. You can help double the money to whichever one is your favorite. Community Health Partners is kind of a big thing about it. It's got 22 agencies. I don't know that CJAC is on the list, but of course CJAC is on the list. Last year we received about just under 3,000 in funds from Give424. Plus we got a little bonus after if they have money left over. So, ladies and gentlemen, seriously, this is the easiest, fastest way. Go online, get it for $25, $50, $100, whatever you might get a little board, can't afford 10, whatever. It's double, you're on the 17 places you get. All right?
Different.
All right.
Thank you, Pat. And also remember, tonight, the hop sock and hop, whatever you want to call it. You know, take your socks and hop. Anyway, see Flora Louie for tickets, $10. $10 before the show, $15 at the door. So be there or...
Be square.
Right. Thank you. Anyway, meeting adjourned. Thank you, guys.